Big Mike here with
Hayes Entertainment.
Today's episode. We got Hockey Hall of Fame member Cammie Granato Ferrero.
If you like what we're doing, you hit the subscribe button. Let's go. If you're looking for a mug, perhaps a hoodie, head on over to IOnlyTouchGreatness.com.
I'm Cammie Granato. I am a U.S. national team women's player who won medals in the 1998 Olympics gold and 2002 silver. I am currently a pro scout with the Seattle Kraken, who will have a team on the ice next year, and I am on Only Touch Greatness.
We the best, just like Alan says, we the best. We stay hot to death, we the best. Always down to practice, Hayes Entertainment, what you know about that? We the best, just like Alan says, we the best. We stay hot to death, we the best.
Catherine Michelle Cammie Granato is a two-time Olympian and Olympic champion. She was the captain of the first women's Olympic ice hockey team and scored the first ever Olympic goal for the United States, leading Team USA to a gold medal at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano. She came back to win a silver medal with her team at the 2002 Olympic Games in Salt Lake City and was voted by her peers to carry the U.S. flag for closing ceremonies. Cammie Granato is Team USA's all-time leading point scorer and played in every World Championship from the inaugural event in 1990 to 2005. In 1996, Granato was named USA Hockey Women's Player of the Year. In 2008, she became the first woman to be inducted into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame. Granato has since been a successful hockey broadcast commentator for radio and television, and started the Golden Dreams for Children Foundation.
Get down or lay down.
How you guys doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. Thank you very much for taking the time for us.
No worries.
My name's Big Mike. That's Ryan.
I'm Ryan.
You guys.
Seahawks fan, of course, and you're obviously going to Seattle.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we'll get started here. We're just going to ask you a bunch of questions about hockey and stuff.
Sure.
Born in Illinois. What was childhood like?
It was pretty awesome, actually. I had I couldn't have asked for, honestly, a better childhood. I mean, being the fifth out of six born, the fifth child, everybody had more opinions than I did. I mean, if I had an opinion, it really didn't hold a lot of water. So I followed for a while. But thank goodness I had good role models, because what I followed was my brothers and sisters that were ahead of me they're just really grounded people. Never let me get cocky, never let me win, pushed me to be a better athlete, told me all the rules about not, riding your bike on the street, and protected me as much as they could. But would beat on me for sure. But if anyone else touched me, they would come in to the rescue. They were very protective, but also they didn't take it easy on me. So I think I had the best of everything. My parents were super loving, typical way to grow up. It's a little bit different now, but we'd go out, we'd come home from school, we'd change into our play clothes, and we would go play out until my dad whistled for us to come in for dinner at 5:30. And then that was it was an awesome childhood. I don't know. It couldn't have been better, really. Okay.
You were go, obviously.
Yeah, I played everything. I played every sport, and I played with all the boys all the time. But I think one of the things that I'm really proud of that my parents did was that my mom put me in figure skates to start, because I told her I wanted to play hockey, and she just assumed me being on the ice was what, girls play hockey or don't play hockey. So I'll put you in figure skating like your sister. And I didn't want to do it. I would leave the figure skating arena and go watch the hockey when I was at my lessons at the other rink. And finally they said, okay, if you promise to stay for this, we'll sign you up for spring hockey. And they went against the grain, really against the grain then, because there were no girls playing, and it was not considered something that people do with their little girls. So my mom and dad not only did they do that, but they let me dress like my brother Robbie. My brother Robbie was 2 years older than me, or a year and a half. We were like twins. We were attached at the hip, and I didn't want to dress in anything but and they didn't have a lot of sporty feminine clothes that at the time. I wanted my hair cut like his. I wanted to wear the same t-shirts he wore and jeans or shorts. And so I'm really happy that they let me be me. Yeah.
Definitely worked out.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Oh yeah, The Holiday is my favorite. Elf is a family favorite.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the new family favorite. Growing up, it was Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Oh yeah.
That's a great one.
So yeah. Yeah. I think Elf is the new version. Like
Yeah.
the new kid, the one the younger kids like, right? Yeah.
How come you wore number 21?
I wore 21. My brother Tony wore it because of Stan Mikita on the Blackhawks.
Yep.
And we grew up in the Chicago area, and we had season tickets to the Blackhawks. So he was the first of all of us, and so he would watch Stan and looked up to him. And then Mike Ruzioni was 21, and so when my brother wore it and Mike Ruzioni wore it, I was like, I want to wear number 21, and so that became my go-to number.
Okay.
Even from when I was young, I wore it. Yeah.
If Mike, I got one. If you could sit
Right
down.
on. Who did you try and mirror your game after play like growing up?
What's that?
Sorry, we have both asked the question at the same time. These damn COVID rules got us separated here.
No worries. So,
Like,
what was the question? Which one?
I just said, who did you try and mirror your game after a play like?
I think honestly, my role models were the Blackhawks, and I loved Dennis Savard. Loved him.
Okay.
I don't think I consciously tried to play like him, but I certainly loved watching him live. And at the time, there was no internet. There was no way to see anyone from anywhere else in the league unless they came into like this Chicago stadium, right? So I only knew the Blackhawks and I knew the Olympic team. So, but I did know my brother Don, who's now a coach, and it makes sense. He was sort of the coach as a kid. He was like splicing Wayne Gretzky tapes on the VHS and showing us like Wayne Gretzky's goals. And I actually remember how much it helped to watch the goals over and over. It's not like I tried to be him, but you could watch the way he moved and sort of like take that information and however, but I definitely had, I think Dennis Savard growing up was my favorite player. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he did like the spinorama.
Yeah, the spinorama.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember Denny Savard for sure. If you could sit down for dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Anybody.
Well,
Dead or alive?
Just one.
Dead or alive, and we try to tend to lean towards not family because everybody wants their parents.
No, I think that my list there's about 5 people, but my top would be Barack Obama. For sure.
Okay, nice choice.
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
Pick his brain.
Yeah, he'd be pretty interesting to talk to for more than a dinner, right?
Yeah. Even Michelle too.
Michelle is my top 2 are those 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any pregame meal or rituals?
Mm-hmm. Oatmeal in the morning always. My brother told me to have oatmeal in the morning, and I don't know. I just listened to it, and every time pregame meal on the game day, I'd have oatmeal with some fruit. When Bonnie Blair, I don't know, Bonnie Blair was a famous speed skater from the U.S. who just piled up a bunch of medals, and she was the only Olympian. Well, we watched all the Olympics, but she was the one Olympian that I was just a powerhouse. She was my first female idol because there was a female hockey player to look up to. She came and spoke to us before the 98 Olympics, and she talked about peanut butter sandwiches, how she used to eat them before her race. So I started doing the peanut butter sandwiches too. So Bonnie says, she did it. She won. So yeah, that was it.
How big was the Naomi Ramon moment when she played in the NHL for you?
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing because I dreamed the same dream. Growing up, literally thought I was going to be on the Blackhawks. The same thing as my brothers and I dreamed to play on the Blackhawks. That's who we saw every Wednesday and Sunday live. And I didn't know any better. I mean, I played with the boys. I just assumed that I'm going to be a pro. I'm going to play in the NHL for the Blackhawks. And I got when I probably 13, 14 years old when the boys were growing and I wasn't, I was like, this sucks. How can this be fair that women can't go further? And then when she did it, I was like, yes, it's possible. And it was amazing. It was inspirational and it was courageous and good for the sport. And I know her story is going to be told even more now through, I think, a movie, right? And so amazing. And I've gotten to know her over the years and she's a great person as well. So Yeah, it was a really special thing that she got to do that.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing a movie about her, but
I
that's
think something, I don't know. Am I speaking out of turn here?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we've been trying to get a hold of her for an interview for a while. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, you represented your country tons of times. What's the feeling of putting that jersey on?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, it's the pinnacle for us. And I watched my brother Tony go to the 1988 Olympics. I mean, obviously, I mentioned that the 1980 team had a major impact on my family. So we wanted to be them. And then my brother goes and does it, 8 years later in Calgary. And I remember being at the opening ceremonies, like begging my mom, like, how can I get into the Olympics? How can I do this? How can I be part of the, Team USA? And then I go to college, and a couple years later, we get into the first Women's World Championships. We had no idea. Like, I didn't even know there was women hockey that even existed until I was probably 16 or 17. That I didn't realize that there was hockey out east, for colleges. And so when I got to go to Providence College my freshman year, we had tryouts for the first ever women's national team that was going to go to the World Championship. And I happened to be in Providence that year, which had I missed a year, I wouldn't have been a part of that, right? Because I didn't even know about it. It was just known in that little area of the East. Because again, no internet, information doesn't really travel, right?
Yeah.
Of
So we're at tryouts, and the next thing I know, I make the team, and we're in Lake Placid with a group of girls that all get to meet each other for the first time. We go into Ottawa, Canada, play the first World Championship. Seeing your jersey in the locker room was just like, oh my God. Like, after I know what it meant for my brother to represent, I felt so proud, and it was amazing just to pull it over your head. And then 10,000 people show up for the game against Canada in the gold medal game. And we were like, are we on Mars? Like, nobody watched us in Providence, and nobody's cared about women's hockey. But now there's this entire crowd who's like really behind us. I thought it was amazing. Playing in Canada as a U.S. player was my favorite by far place to play, because there was always a crowd. Yeah.
Oh, you killed my next question there. I was going to say, what's the best stadium you've ever played in, or city that you've been to?
I would say that game in Ottawa for me probably had the most impact, because we went from zero people giving a crap about our sport to a stadium. And this is 1990, mind you. Like, look where we are now. But like, just this energetic, like 10,000 screaming fans. I didn't care that they were like booing us and singing "Na Na Na" when we were losing. It was just this, like, we had arrived in a way. It was very surreal, and that had a huge impact on me that game. I think we had a lot of other good venues. Like, we played in Nova Scotia, Mississauga, in Toronto. I think we got crushed that game, so it probably wasn't my favorite. But we put a lot of big stadiums in Canada. They were all so fun. Yeah.
Hey, take me back to 1998 at the Nagano Olympics when you captained Team USA to the gold medal, and take me back to the first goal, which is actually the first ever Olympic goal for a U.S. woman.
Yeah, that goal was pretty cool. Honestly, I just whacked at it. It was a loose puck, and that's pretty much where I scored all my goals. I was like, that was kind of where, I don't know, I was most comfortable. It's just, I knew there I was, where I could put pucks in the net, but it just happened really fast. I saw a rebound, and I think it was a rebound, and I just kind of, knocked it in. And I got back to the bench, and I sat down, and I'm like, I just scored a goal in the Olympics. Like, holy crap. Like, that was a really cool feeling. Like, it's one thing to go. It's one thing then to realize that you actually have a chance for a medal. And then when you score, I never actually had thought about the scoring part. When we were training, it was always about trying to win the medal. And then actually getting a goal, it was like, wow, that's a cool feeling I can get used to.
What are the chances you still have that puck?
I don't have that puck.
No. Okay.
Wow.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the opening ceremonies like, or closing, especially after you've won, are probably better than the opening, but the opening must be.
I honestly, like, they're both, the Olympics are just, there's something just so magical about them. And I think that you understand it when you're there. And maybe you guys, when it was in Vancouver,
2010,
feel the magic, right? Like, it's just, there's something you can't explain until you're around that energy. And so for me, we'd always watched Olympics growing up, and then watching my brother go in. And then, like we said, the 1980 team had such a major impact on me. getting to be one of those athletes is like, it's overwhelming. So we couldn't sleep the night before. All my 5 roommates, there were 6 of us in each little clusters for our team. And we put on all our gear, I remember, because we were nervous, and we were like walking around our little apartment in the village, in the Olympic Village, and we were like pretending to wave, and we just were trying to like get out all the nervousness. And then the next morning, because of the time change, we were at 10 in the morning. You seemed to line up for like hours, but walking to the tunnel, like, so when you walk through that tunnel and you hear the roar, it would hit me like a ton of bricks. And I broke down a little bit, but I had to like hold it in as much as I can. And then I saw the torch, when the torch went up the stairs, or just like waterworks. Like, it just, I don't know. It's remarkable. And you also know you're officially an Olympic athlete that day, and you are forever. So it's rewarding in that sense. So that was pretty memorable. It's like those memories don't fade, like it feels like it was yesterday when I think about it.
And exactly what you were saying about the whole magical experience of the Olympics. We all probably, because you must have been there too in 2010 in some point, right?
Yeah. I was working that.
Yeah, you were commentating it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Olympics, that 2-week run where it was 2 weeks of the best 2 weeks of my life, probably. We were downtown partying, drinking, and cheering on Canada.
Yeah. I know. I remember I had my 3-year-old. I just had a baby. I had an 8-week-old, and then my 3-year-old at the patio. We were down in Yaletown, and the torch run came right through behind our house, our townhouse, and we looked out, and I said, "There's the torch," and you could just see all the sea of people following it. And I had to explain to him, like, this isn't normal to have this like right in your backyard. Like, it was just so cool.
That is cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
What was it like commentating in 2010?
Well, I was, like I said, 8 weeks of, just had a baby. I was still like, had my like baby brain going. It was super fun. I had done it in Torino 4 years earlier. The coolest thing about it was my husband Ray and I worked literally like 20 feet apart. So the Rogers Arena at the time, it was Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Right?
No, GM Place.
Was it GM Place?
GM. I'm like, it was a different name. See, still have my baby brain. It was GM Place. So I was up in the studio, and we would cover the games that were being played at UBC in studio, because I was doing in between periods on the panel. So we would be there, and there could be a game going on behind us, but we were doing our work there. So Ray, my husband, would be like 4 rows down doing the game. It was super cool. And it was a lot of fun being home and being able to do it at home. And then I'm happy I got to do it even with the newborn. Like, I don't think I could have done that had it been in another city.
343 points in 205 games with the national team, all-time leading scorer still. What's it like to hold a record like that?
You know what? It's going to be broken. Hillary Knight is going to break my record, which I think is fantastic. I mean, you can't hang on to it for too long, right? It's something definitely like, for me, I always felt that was my contribution to the team, was scoring. And it's what I felt most comfortable doing and most natural doing, being offensive. So I'm proud of it. I'm definitely not stuck on the numbers, or the other stuff meant more to me than the points, but don't get me wrong. Like, I certainly loved, I was a point getter. Like, in a game, like, if I didn't score, I was pissed at myself. Like, that was my whole goal, was like, I knew I was there to provide offense, and that's what I love to do the most. So yeah, I like to score, but when you look at the numbers and everything in a team game, like, it's more about like the wins and chasing the big dream, which was the medals, right? Like,
yep. What was it? What were the battles like with Canadian legend Hayley Wickenheiser?
They were big. Hayley and I, for the first time, just got on a Zoom together for her WickFest just a couple weeks ago. And we had a blast, because we're now like so far removed past like the bitter rivalry, and we're grown, mature women, which we were, young and probably pretty immature. And we got to just kind of relive like some of the bitter rivalry part. And one of the ones is I had never ever had stitches. We were full cage or full eye-tech, whatever. And she gave me her first stitches that I ever had. she popped me in the face and then proceeded to throw me down to the ice. And so I had stitches in my face. So it was bitter. And we definitely both were very similar players in the sense of providing offense. She was, she was a lot, I would say, maybe more physical. But she was a gamer, and we battled. We battled and we did not like each other on the ice. And it was. I think we were really good. Our teams were really good for the sport. We really pushed each other. But
I was just going to say,
a lot of guys had my numbers. Like a lot of the players on the defensemen, some of the big defensemen had my number, and they tried to make my life miserable. And wasn't that fun? But that's what it was.
Both of you two are, I would say, like the goats,
the best ever.
Yeah, yep. of your countries. And
thank you. There's a lot more amazing players as well, but I know her and I for the many years really did go head to head, and it was.
You guys really did put hockey on the map too for women's hockey.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it's it's slow, but it's fast. Like there is some progress coming, but a lot of the stuff that these girls are fighting for now are similar to what we were fighting for back then. And I do think the cool thing now that we can be is we can be women fighting for the sport of hockey. Before we were sort of like, it was Canada, US, and you were defined by your country. Even in me living in Canada, I've lived in Canada for over 15 years. And for a while, I was just this US player trying to be in Canada. But now I'm a hockey player, and I've got camps here, and I run tournaments here, and it's more about growing the game than it is your definition of your country, because the rivalry is, the countries felt the rivalry, right? And they didn't like me here.
Yeah.
They really liked me in Canada. But now everyone's sort of understanding it's women's hockey, right?
And
that led to my next one. You obviously being the scout of the Seattle Kraken. And what do you think of Kendall Coyne-Schofield being the first female coach in the NHL?
Well, she's player development. Yeah, she's a rock star. She's gonna do great. I'm super happy for her. I'm actually proud of her. I look at her as like a little sister to my family. Because she's a Chicago kid as well, and grew up going to my camps. Grew up working my camps. Still, my family works some of her camps back in Illinois. Her and I will team up again at some point. But we talk a little bit through text, and we keep in touch about stuff. And she's just, I'm just so proud of who she represents and how not only is she kicking ass on the ice and now being with the Blackhawks doing what she's doing, but she got her hand in broadcasting, and she's trying so hard to say yes to everything so she grows the game. And I think, I know that as a captain, like when you're pulled in a million different directions from the press, she has to do that constantly. Like I did it, post Nagano or pre Nagano and maybe pre Salt Lake, but she has to do it all the time now with social media. And there's so many more people that want a piece of her, but she does it with a smile. She does it because she wants to grow the game. And I think a credit to her for working just as hard off the ice on that stuff as she does with her game. It's hard to balance, and she's doing a really good job.
Right on that cue. What do you think makes a good captain?
I think it's a captain that's about we and not I, a captain that has your best interests at hand instead of like their own, I guess if they had their own thoughts about what they wanted to do in their own, like, the word has now eluded me. Sorry again, Mom.
It's okay.
But I think, it's more about the we. It's putting your team first. It's understanding the roles that you might have to have outside off the ice. But for me personally, as a captain, I think there's all different kinds. Everyone doesn't. You don't have to be the same leader to lead, but you do have to have that that care for your team and not be an I. And then you do have to. For me, it was more about I wasn't really going to go in and like give big speeches before the game and really rev the team up. There were other great leaders on my team that could do that. I was more by example, and I was definitely good at off ice people, like any one-on-one with someone was struggling with confidence. Like I could see that, I could read that, I could try to help. And then if say there was like, some tension with the team, it was trying to like bring those together and try to like find a solution. So it was more of that kind of stuff. I would think. But it was hard, you guys. It was hard because I got a lot of attention, and I kept deflecting that, and trying to say it was us. It was us, because then you get dissension in the team with people being jealous. It's not an easy thing to balance, but I tried my best to do it.
So do you live in Trail? Because I know that's where Ray's from.
No. Ray grew up in Trail. I live in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be scouting the WHL and BC Hockey League then for Seattle out here.
Well, I'm doing pro scouting, so I'm doing the actual NHL teams, and I'm doing it out of Rogers. So I go last year. I covered, and I'm not traveling this year with COVID, so I'm still doing those games local. If we're just trying to figure out if we're in or not, and if not, we're doing virtual. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, well, what do you think this rivalry is going to be like, being a Canucks season ticket holder here?
I can't wait.
And a Seahawks fan, so that 2-hour drive is really easy, and I love both cities. So
that's right. Well, no, they were talking about that. There's a proposal to have that speed train.
Yeah.
It take 10 years to build. I'm like, man, would that be great or what?
45
minutes? Yeah. I wish that was built right now. But no, I'm excited for that rivalry. It'll be a great rivalry, and a lot of fun to see how it unfolds. Yeah,
I love the logo too. Like, they did a great job on the logo.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It was worth the wait. And yeah, it was sort of all the Christmas gifts for the family this year was the
logo, I bet. Yeah.
hoodies and the hats, and yeah.
How's Ray liking the quarantine?
He's good. He's happy. He's been with us for 9 months straight, where he's used to being on the road every week. Probably this is nice for him. He gets his own little space. No one interrupts. It's good for him now because he can prep for the tournament. There's a lot to learn with that tournament, with the turnover with names. And he's very, him and Gord Miller are really, they're dedicated to getting the names right. So some of these Russian Czech names, you've got to get the right influx. And so he's busy kind of studying up on that, and then just getting to know the players. And then the players a lot of them, sometimes they're changing now with the COVID stuff. And so he's good. He's excited for the tournament. I think the whole country is going to be, watching, because there's no other hockey. And I think it's going to be memorable. Thanks for the kids that they don't have fans and stuff. But I think I don't know. I can't wait for it to start.
No, us either. I think that's the best hockey in the world, to be honest, the World Juniors. Like, it's amazing. Those kids give it their all.
I agree. It's such a great tournament.
Yeah,
we've been every year, except when they went to UFA. We decided not to go, but we usually go every year as a family, and that's our family trip. And last year we were in Ostrava in Czech, and I had no expectations, but it was the most fantastic trip. Great people, good food, amazing tournament. It was so much fun. And so we're bummed we can't go, but I'm excited to watch.
What's been your go-to quarantine drink and go-to quarantine snack?
Ooh. So I'm tea. I'm a big tea drinker. Wine we'll have once in a while. Ray's bigger into wine than I am. I'm good with wine if you take me to Italy. But when I come here, I get headaches from some of the wines here. So I'm a little bit lame with that. But we do a little bit of that. And then I've gotten into a little bit of a little piece of chocolate every night with my tea has been my kind of go-to.
Okay.
I wasn't a chocolate person before that. I was more savory, or maybe more, like bready something. But the little chocolate has been good. Little piece.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite
little dark chocolate, sea salt, a little sprinkle of sea
Oh yeah, those
almonds,
are good. Those are good.
Little almonds, they're good.
Do you have a favorite movie about sports?
Sports movie? Well, growing up, it was the Carl Malden movie of Miracle. It was like, I don't even know if you guys know who Carl Malden is, but he was an actor, famous actor in the early 80s, right after they rushed into this made-for-TV Miracle movie, and literally we wore it out like it was a VHS tape. We knew every word and every line. That was our favorite. But Miracle was good. There's a lot of them.
Hey, that's what we're here to do. Give you the tough questions sometimes. He gives you the fun. I give you the hard ones.
Field of Dreams was another power one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Tony up to these days?
He's coaching at Wisconsin.
Okay.
They
have a stacked team. I didn't even know that. They have a stacked team there.
Bunch of our guys went there.
Yeah, they're good. They were young last year. They had higher expectations of them this year. This year they had low expectations, actually more, and they're actually exceeding that. So I think it's good. Everything's good. I mean, it is a crazy year with COVID, and then some players went to the World Junior, so I missed some of the games, and Yeah. So
Yeah.
Hey, I got one, Mike. If you say there was a prize on the line and you had to sing one song in karaoke, what song would it be?
you know what it would be? It would be from the movie The Star Is Born.
Well,
You
the
know,
one with Bradley Cooper, right?
yeah. Come on, the one they sung on the Oscars. What's that one called?
I can't even remember. I know what song you're talking about, but
I belt that one out in the shower. I love that song. and I'm learning the guitar, and honestly, I'm starting to strum the guitar, and I'm seriously don't even know a chord yet. Like I'm just starting to learn, but I was like, if I can get to play that song and sing it, I'll just feel really cool.
I'll hit you at the NHL. Oh, go ahead.
What's Ray think about your singing?
He's okay with it. He's good with it. Yeah, I'm not terribly off key. I'm not a great singer by any means, but I'm not off key too much. But that song, God, you know the name, but
it'll come to us after, obviously.
Totally.
I'll hit you with the NHL draft question then that a lot of scouts ask. If you're an animal, what would you be?
If I'm an animal?
Yeah.
Huh. That's a good one. Never been asked that. I loved monkeys as a kid, but I don't know that I would choose monkeys. I mean, they look like they have a lot of fun swinging through. But am I supposed to equate it to the game of hockey?
Yes.
Oh. Or like what my playing style was compared to what kind of animal I would be?
Yeah. Yes. We usually our top answers are usually like lion or gorilla because the king of the jungle, or we get shark, king of the water.
Maybe a shark in front of the net. Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say gazelle, but I wasn't like the most graceful. I was just more about the intangibles. So I would give maybe I was kind of a shark in front of the net. I would go with that.
Okay. Hey, Cammie, go ahead.
Wait, I got 2 questions left, if we can.
Yep.
Can you tell us a funny story that we might not know about Ray? Because we want to get him on here one day, and I want to bring it up to him.
A funny story. Yeah, I mean, you're putting me on the spot. I think, Ray's got a lot of interesting characteristics. I think maybe, what people wouldn't know about Ray is that, and maybe he's brought it up on his podcast, but he's a complete neat freak. So during this COVID, like I haven't done a load of laundry, not a load. I might've done honestly 1 load. He does the laundry, folds it like in the most perfect form, puts it on.
Wow.
Yeah. He's unloads the dishwasher every single day. He's a clean freak. So I am like, that's one thing that people wouldn't like know about him, but he does talk about it a lot. He's a bit OCD when it comes to like, he can't walk by a mess. So I'm grateful for that.
Sounds like a pretty perfect husband. I mean, doing all the laundry and the dishes. I mean, what else more could you ask for?
I make dinners and he cleans up. We've had that rule since that we've been married. It's like I cook, he cleans, and he actually loves the cleaning part. He does drive me nuts though because he throws things away. Like he won't tell me, but he'll like do a clean in the garage and he'll throw away, and I'll be like, "Hey, do you remember where that bike helmet went?" And he's like, like he's throwing it out, right? So he throws out perfectly good things, but I won't get too mad at him because our house would be a lot more chaotic looking if he wasn't in it.
My last question I got, do you have any idea who the coach is going to be?
No,
can't give that out on here, eh?
No. If you imagine, I don't know personally. I actually don't know, but I would never be able to. I want
No.
a job.
Yeah, right.
Of course not.
Yeah.
That's why I saved that question for the end.
Yeah.
Hey, Cammie, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time today for us and coming on and chatting us about hockey and yourself. We've been big fans of you for a long time, and it meant a lot to us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm happy I got to finally be on.
It was awesome. Yes, you did.
Way, if you guys would, I'm starting a podcast January 1st with a teammate of mine. So if you want to promote it, I mean, I don't know the audience, so we're trying to probably get a lot of women, but if you can promote it for me or whatever, that'd be great.
Yeah, Cammie, can you send me the name of it or like a link or something, and then we'll add it to this video? Yeah,
I'll send you my niece is doing the social media piece, and she has it on Instagram already. It's called Girls on the Bus. It's called Girls on the Bus. You could probably take, or I can send you the image if you want.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it. We'll add whatever you want. Yeah,
that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great day today.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yes.